All right, so we just got some pretty big news. The hot stove is officially lit, and we got our first big trade of the trade deadline, which is August 2nd. The clock is ticking. Here's the deal. The Angels making a deal with the team from the south side, the White Sox. It's Lucas Giolito and Reynaldo Lopez for two prospects, Edgar Caro and Kai Bush. Obviously, the Angels, there's a lot of implications there with one Mr. Shohei Ohtani, which we'll talk about in due time. But first, let's talk about the big piece, which is Lucas Giolito. He's on his last year of arbitration this year, meaning he's an unrestricted free agent for the 2024 season. And when you look at Giolito, he received Cy Young votes in 2019 through 2021. 2022 was not his best year, an ERA hovering around the 5 mark, was well below average. He had a whip, walks and hits per inning pitched of 1.435, very high, of qualified pitchers towards the top of the league. And this year, he's looked better, the ERA down to about 3.79, and the whip way down to 1.22, much better. He still gets strikeouts. This year, 131 over 121 innings pitched, so he's going to miss some bats. He's not going to blow you away velocity, but he's got some good stuff. And he's only 29 years old. For a guy that's already been an all-star, who's looked pretty good throughout his career with a couple hiccups along the road, I think this is a good get for the Angels. Now, of course, as I mentioned, he is on an expiring contract. We'll see whether or not they want to bring him back because they did give up quite a bit for him. But not just him, also Reynaldo Lopez, who's been with the White Sox since 2017 now. He's a starting pitcher, but only this year he transitioned to a full-time bullpen role. He's had some good years, 2022 in particular, finished with an ERA plus of 145. 45% above the average pitcher in the league. This year he's been solid. It looks very similar on paper. The only difference is the long ball. 7 home runs and 42 innings pitched this year compared to just 1 home run in 65 innings last year. That's where the big jump in ERA goes. But he's striking out more batters than ever. He has 52 in that 42 inning span this year. But two guys that are definitely going to help them out and clearly help their progress towards a playoff push, which they are undoubtedly barreling towards. We're going to do a full video talking about that one. But let's talk about the White Sox. Get here. They're going to get Edgar Caro, a 20-year-old switch-hitting catcher out of Cuba. He had a very good year in A-ball last year, 2022. Hit 17 home runs, had a 965 OPS. Pretty damn good. Overall, well-rounded catcher. He's adjusting a little to Double-A pitching so far. Only a 718 OPS on the season this year. And it makes a lot of sense. He's a catcher. The Angels' #1 prospect, Logan O'Hoppe, looked really good before injury. So they definitely know who their catcher of the future is. Edgar Caro was the number 65 prospect in baseball, #2 in the Angels system. And the second guy they gave up, Kai Bush, was right behind him, #3. Kai's a 6'6" lefty stud with a nice breaking slider. He's got average velocity with good potential, but he's also struggled this year. He has a 7.2 ERA across both rookie and Double-A baseball. He's had some trouble with the home runs as well, and he's walked 15 batters in just 30 innings pitched so far this year. But all in all, getting the #2 and #3 prospect out of a farm system for two guys who are going to become free agents in 2024, Giolito undoubtedly is going to cost a hefty sum, and you know the White Sox aren't footing that bill. I think Chicago made out pretty well. I like this trade for him. Pretty clear they're not contending this year. They've got a lot more to do. A lot of guys that are suspected to get traded. Maybe Tim Anderson, maybe Lance Lynn. A lot of guys on the trade market. And as for the Angels, I want to do a full video talking about it because this is probably going to stamp Ohtani as an Angel for the remainder of the year. They're clearly going for it. And there's a lot that I have to say about that, both good and bad. But immediate impact, Giolito, he's going to be one of the best starters on that staff. You're going to join guys like Ohtani, Reed Detmers, Patrick Sandoval, Tyler Anderson. A lot of guys who have not had the kind of years that you'd thought they have. Actually, I'm pretty sure Giolito right now has the lowest ERA out of all their qualified starters. So overall, pretty balanced trade, but if I had to pick a winner on this current date, it'd probably be the White Sox. What do you guys think? Giolito coming to Los Angeles and a certain Shohei probably not leaving.